Hey everyone, this is Nicole Glass. I just finished a real estate shoot and primarily I used this lens right here, which is the Canon 16 to 35mm f2.8 version 3 wide angle lens, and I absolutely love this lens. So I figured now is the perfect time to do a review of this lens. I've been using it for just about a month, actually more than a month, and have used this in so many different environments. So I figured I've gathered enough footage and experience to talk about this lens a little bit. So let me go over a few pros and cons of buying this lens. Number one, it just feels like quality glass. It's not flimsy at all. Yes, it's heavy, but you really feel like you're holding $2,000 in your hand. So you feel like you're getting quality glass. Two, the contrast and the colors are spectacular. I really notice a huge difference between the photos taken with this lens and photos taken with sort of like my beginner lenses. And when I put them in my computer, even before editing, I can see that they're just so beautiful. So I have to do a lot less editing just because it looks so great right from the start. And three, the sharpness blows my mind. Every photo I take with this lens is super sharp. But there's also a few cons to this lens, as much as I love it. One, it's really heavy. So if you're traveling and you want to travel light, you can sort of scratch that off your list because it weighs a lot. Two, there is some vignetting. I've noticed that when I take photos, a lot of times I'll get that darker vignette around the photo, and I don't always want that. It's something that I can edit, but still, that's just something you gotta live with when you have this lens. But the vignetting only occurs when you have it, around like 16 millimeters. If you've got it at 35 millimeters, you're not gonna get that vignetting. And three, there is distortion at the edges, but most people who've owned a wide angle lens are familiar with that. If you take a group shot and you put people on the edges, you're gonna see that they're really stretched out. So just kind of like keep people centered if you want them to look normal, or you can work on that in post-processing. So what is this lens good for? Well, for one, it is perfect for real estate photography. As you can see, I'm in a beautiful apartment and this is not mine. I actually just did a real estate shoot in here. When you're doing real estate photography, you need something super wide. For some photographers, the 24 to 70 does just fine, but sometimes you really need something a little wider. So when you've got the 16 to 35 millimeter, you can really get those epic shots to make even the tiniest room look huge. It's also good for taking group photos. If you're in a room with like 50 people and you're trying to get them all in a photo, something like the 24 to 70 might work, but it might also not, depending on how big the room is and how far you can get back. So a 16 to 35 millimeter most likely will get every person in the shot. Just make sure not to put them in the edges because there will be some distortion and they might get a little stretched out. It's also great for landscapes and astrophotography, or pretty much anything where you want to show the entire region that you're in and show the beauty of the landscape. And of course, it is amazing for vlogging. If you watch a lot of YouTube, you'll probably see a lot of photography vloggers using this lens. Because it's so wide, they can put it on their camera, point the camera at themselves, and get their entire face in the shot without having to, stretch their arm too far. So it's great for that. If you're a vlogger, you could definitely consider a lens like this. But if you're a hobbyist, there are cheaper alternatives. You don't have to spend $2,000 on a wide angle lens. In the description below, I have a couple of links, not only to this lens, but also to cheaper alternatives, anywhere ranging from a couple $100s to, $1,000. There are lenses that are half this cost or even a quarter of this cost that will get similar results, so check those out. If this was helpful in any way, if you like my videos or if you just enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button below, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos would you like to see in the future. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.